I'm here to teach you vape tricks.
Come here. Come here.
What the heck is going on, everybody? It's 11:11. This is Thurston, and this is Jade. And we're going to be taking you behind the beat of our song, Lolo. So buckle up. Here we go. So this song was actually a beat request I had from a client that ended up being too sad for her sound. So I really liked this song, especially the idea of the ending. I was listening to a ton of Gucci High Waters. He has a lot of really sad like piano sounds in his songs. So I really wanted to emphasize that, have a more emotional sounding song that kind of cut deep. So this was also inspired by a lot of Joji's earlier work, Will He, Demons, stuff like that, where it had those kind of sadder pianos underneath of like really dark synth sounds. So I wanted to have a combination of that as well as a little bit of a metalcore breakdown at the end that I really enjoy. So there's this really small artist, you might have heard of him. His name's Black Bear. Probably doesn't ring a bell. He has a song called Sometimes I Want to Die that led influence to this. It was actually one of the first songs where I used just a ton of samples that I had repurposed, detuned, and cut up for the song, rather than going in and programming all the MIDI synth myself. So a little bit different out of our norm. So let's take a listen. So first, to start things off, I have the piano that started it all. It was a part of a longer loop that I ended up just cutting down to what we needed, put a little detune on it. And then, of course, I pitch shift everything. So we have a pitch shifted copy of it that's lower. And I merge them together. So the other thing I have on the verse is this hi-hat and snare that are pretty empty. I layered another snare in there, just to make a lot of room for vocals. So to transition to the chorus, I have this kind of separate synth on it. Another synth that I found on Splice. Shout out Splice, they fucking kick ass. But I kind of just kept that pattern going. Just added something new to the song, some high end over it. So I put that on the chorus, along with all these little swells that I have going on in every song I do pretty much. Kind of spooky sounding, a little haunted. This bass just really matches the pattern of the piano. So I have all three, or both of those going on right here. I just like to separate my bass into like the low end and then have a high end so you can really hear the gain through it and kind of move them around the kick sound. So they kind of just ride together, complementing each other. And then I really just wanted a cool kick pattern that just followed the bass, really hammered it in. And then there's a little transition about halfway through the chorus too, right here. And you can hear the little bell that's in every single song. This little guy right there, piece of shit. I love my bells. Then in the second verse, I kind of kept it the same as the first, really open. I added another set of trap hats that are a lot faster pace, pitched a little higher, so they give it a little unique sound. Panned left to right. Also just found these on Splice, cut them up. I think there actually might be 3 different hi-hat patterns. So I added in this transition synth that I panned from right to left, right during the first part of the second chorus. And I also added a lower version of that high chorus synth. Just to give it a little bit more movement, texture. I also added in a little background perk. It's a little pitch shaker. Just to give it a little bit more texture. You kind of can't hear it. But I love that sound. Okay, so then moving on to my favorite part of the song, which is the ending. Might be one of the best parts that I think I've ever written. It hits so hard. I changed up the drums almost completely. Added in some new kick patterns, a little bit of a faster hi-hat. And then the big change I had was this open crash cymbal. So I created a little room for that to give it some reverb, and then had the drums go like this. I again really wrote these hi-hats to sound like a breakdown. So once again emulated a kick pattern in a metalcore song. Then I brought in a synth to copy the bass. So I really liked the synth pattern. So as you can see here, I have a synth which has a low octave and a high octave. And I have them sidechained to the kick. So they really follow the bass here. I obviously took out the pianos for this part just because there's too much stuff going on, so I really wanted it to have this big open changing outro where the last chorus really stood out, and it transitions into it using the same transition synth, and then this is the only spot where the low chorus synth comes in. Really just by itself. And then I really wanted to give it a little bit more drive, so I did all these little cuts right here, which are a lot of fun, and they go really well with the kick pattern. It's a nice little change up halfway through. So the ending just has kick, and I put a bunch of reverb and high pass filter on there, so you really only get the little bits of low end, as well as this hi-hat pattern from the verse, just to make it really disconnected towards the end. I also put little filters on the synth, so it just kind of peaks out a little bit. And the highlight is this chorus synth. Well, that about wraps it up. Thank you so much for checking us out again on another edition of Behind the Beat. Be sure to tune in every Tuesday for new content, and we can't wait to see you again.